So yesterday I had my locals um, in Indiana where I live, and I played a deck I enjoyed a lot that did fine. Did better than I thought it would. I went 2-2 when I expected to maybe win one round if I was lucky. It got close the other rounds as well and made me realize a couple of things about the archetype I kind of like. So I'm going to go ahead and show it off. I did play Floowandereeze in the deck. Um, Pretty normal setup of it, 3 Robina, 3 Eglin, 1 Stree, 1 Talkin, 2 Empen, 1 Avian, 1 Risa. I'm not gonna go into too much info about any of the flu stuff because it's flu. Everyone kind of knows what it does at this point. The idea is to put out the Avian. You might notice that I'm not playing Snow, which I do like a lot in normal flu, but this one's a little strange. For its spell and traps, I'm only playing 2 Advent, 2 Map, 1 Dreaming Town, and 1 Unexplored Winds. This is to make room for what we've shoved it in with. Because I am actually playing 3 Sweet Dreams Nemleria, 3 Dreaming Nemleria, 2 of her Dream Tower, and 2 of each of her protectors. These cards are kind of cool, but there's not a great way to use them until they get more support next set. These cards did a surprising amount of work, and the cards that I put on board when I bricked, being the 2 dogs in the tower, actually made me able to stall out a lot of games, so I didn't win those matches, but I had a game 1 last 30 minutes to the point where I forgot it was still the first game. It was very interesting to see it happen. I'm going to give an explanation for what they do in a second, but I'll just show off the couple of hand traps I was playing first. I was playing 3 Book of Moon, 2 Ash, and 2 Nibiru. The Nibiru didn't need to be there. It should have been 1 more Ash and then 1 more Advent of Adventure, most likely. And I realized that right before the event, but didn't change it. I will continue to play this deck, because I think it's very cool, and I'll have to change that as one of the main things. And then I'm also just playing 3 Extravs. This card's incredible. It helps further your strategy I'm about to talk about with Nemleria. And it draws 2. It doesn't impact any of your flu plays. You don't care about the extra deck anyway, so it's fine. But these cards are something else. They've never done a pendulum in quotation marks archetype quite like this. Dreaming Nemleria has a scale effect. For once per turn during your main, you can place 1 Nemleria continuous spell from your deck or grave onto your field, and then add this card to your extra. You can't special summon her the turn you do that. But her other effect is if Dreaming Nemleria is the only card in your extra deck, you can summon her, just as a summon condition. And then she has, when special summoned, for each face down card in your banish, for each 3 face down cards in your banish, she will banish 1 card off your opponent's board. And then for number of cards banished off your opponent's board, you can put her, or you can put that many cards back into your extra deck face down. This card's interesting. Obviously, you want it for its end, right? Its big on summon effect that seems crazy. It's gonna banish 5, put 5 back into the extra, be able to use effects again, because all of these other effects also need to banish face down from the extra. That's how you set her up. I was mainly using it because this continuous has banish 2 face down cards from your extra deck, add 2 level 10 beasts. It prevents you from special summoning from the extra deck the turn you do that, but it searches out each of these. It does have to search out both, or at least 2 with different names, which becomes relevant after the new support. So it's a little annoying if you open up one of them, you know you're only going to get 1 proc of this card. But it also says if your Nemleria monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect of your opponent's cards, banish 1 face down from your extra instead. It's a very, very good replacement that keeps the 2 dogs alive forever. I sat on them for a very long time because this one here, Aurelier, is what I've been calling him. I do not know how to pronounce his, I assume, French name, because I don't know French, but you can summon him if you've got Nemleria face up in your extra. He's a 25/20. This card has quick effect, banish 1 face down from your extra deck as cost. And then this card gains 500 for each monster your opponent controls. It's until end of turn, but that's big. It makes him a normally 3,500, maybe 4,000 attack position monster they have to get around, but they can't destroy it. They would have to banish it. They'd have to do whatever, because this card is not once per turn in its replacement. And Coet has banish 1 face down, extra deck card as cost, and you negate any card or effect of your opponent's that would target a Nemleria card you control, counting both the dogs, but also protecting the tower. So if your opponent does have a destruction for the tower, they don't once. And then this protects both the dogs. This can protect either of these from getting impermed if that's for some reason relevant. They have really, really good synergy. And you normally just put him in defense. He's got the opposite stats. He's a 2,025. So not a ton, but summoning this board was enough to stall me for insane amounts of time a lot of games, and even won me a match against Runick because they just could not get rid of my cards as I kept stopping what they were doing. And then, surprisingly, one of the more important cards is Sweet Dreams Nemleria. I play it at 3. It searches out any Nemleria monster, and then if you already have Dreaming Nemleria face up in your extra deck, your opponent can't activate cards or effects this turn when a Nemleria monster is normal or special summoned. This is important, because not only does it search any of your monsters, including the girl, which you always want to get, of course, so you have 6 copies of her, but she just summons. It is not an activation of an effect to summon or anything. She just summons for free. But then also when you special summon, your opponent can't activate. It makes her much harder to interrupt for her on summon effect. It's very, very cool. This card also has, you can banish it from your graveyard, or you place it from from your graveyard to the bottom of your deck, and then put a Dreaming Nemleria back in the extra deck face up. So after you summon her out, she's in your extra deck zone. You blocked it off. If you want to use her again, it's a lot harder. And this card puts her back. Easy peasy. It was very, very funny to end up doing. I only dropped the Nemleria like twice. Most of the time I was doing flu combos, making an M-Pin, making an avian, sometimes putting out the dogs, whatever that I was controlling. I used Book of Moon like crazy. It helped a lot because it's Book of Moon. It should be a 3 of in almost every deck this format. But overall, I liked it. It was very, very fun. I was able to beat up Runick with it. I was able to stall out against Branded because Branded just could not beat the board of the 2 dogs plus the tower because Dragoon only targets monsters, apparently. Which means I could just stop the destruction. And, yeah, that's it. I liked it a lot. I'm going to work on it some more. My extra deck didn't matter. It was just 15 cards I grabbed. Some of the ones that I like a lot, you know, some ones I just randomly picked up. Just any cards that I can banish. And my side was a little different because I kind of just took my Sprite sideboard and threw it in. So 3 evenly, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Duster, 3 Anti-Spell, a Wannabe, 3 Dim Barrier, and 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. When it comes to sideboards, especially right now, I think it's more just play whatever you want. If you know what's in your meta, build to your meta, and that'll be what you need. It's all preference and skill-based, and doesn't quite matter as much to learn over a video. But this deck I like a lot. I think I'm probably going to change it up a little bit, but I think it's just some numbers, maybe a couple of tech cards. I actually do like it. I'm going to possibly try it again soon, see how it does at locals again. But that's all. Go ahead and check back for any other news about this. I think there's one short combo video showing a couple of boards that I could put out against an AI on Edo Pro, but that's all for this one.